Hello everyone and welcome back to the Tabletop Tavern. It's Dwayne here, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about Heart of Daggers on our journey to use this amazing tool to play Daggerheart online. So our last video we talked about the character creator and how to generally navigate the homebrew section to create your own content. In this video we're going to talk about making your own campaign, or at least starting your campaign. Now, there is a tool set within Heart of Daggers that allows you to sort of set that up and invite players into your actual dedicated campaign. Now, you'll see very shortly the reason why you're going to want to do this, but it's worthwhile to take some time to create a good campaign landing page. So I'm going to walk you through that process and show you what that's like. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go up to your tools. You're going to want to click on that and go down to campaigns. And that's going to take you to the campaign page of Heart of Daggers that allows you to create your own campaign. You'll see here that I've got several created. Some of them I've actually got running, some of them actually in the process of developing. So just a way to congeal my ideas and get some focus. We're going to go up here and click on New Campaign to get started. So of course the first thing you want to do is give your campaign a title. So I'm going to call this one, for those who know. And if you know, you know. And it's going to ask you to create some folders as well. A folder would be if you have numerous campaigns taking place within that sort of same general theme, or just a way to organize your campaigns. Now you'll see down here there is an option to add a campaign frame. Now this is pulled right from the Daggerheart SRD, and it's going to have Age of Umbra, Beast Feast, Motherboard, the Witherwild, all of those. And the reason why that's important is that the Heart of Daggers development team has gone and created specific mechanisms and systems to cater to those campaign frames, like the Motherboard as well as Beast Feast. So if you're making your own, you don't need to do anything at all, and just click Create Campaign. So voila! Welcome to your campaign page. They're nice enough to give you some default artwork if you're not artwork inclined, but you do have the option to upload your own artwork as well. Now, also, I should mention, Heart of Daggers does support night mode and day mode. So up in the top left-hand corner here, you can actually toggle that to your liking. So if you are working at night and you want a little bit more of a subdued background, you can click on that. I just thought to get that out of the way because that is carrying across all of the Heart of Daggers websites, not just the campaign page. So right here on the page, we have some options. We have overview, countdowns, notes and lore, factions, encounters, and players. And it defaults to your players. This is where you're going to want to invite people to your page, and over on the right hand side you'll see a link that you can copy and share that through your socials or emails or however you're getting your players engaged these days. Right now we don't have any players, but another cool thing is that if you are wanting to go through the process of creating this campaign and you want to have characters ready to go for the players, you can go ahead and create pre-mades down here. So if you go down here and you click Create Pre-Made, it'll take you to the option to make a new character. And we've already covered that in our last video. That said, if you already have some characters that you've created, pre-mades, you can just add them here as well. Now, it's going to show you that no players have joined, but let's focus on step by step. Let's go to Overview. Overview is where you're going to add details about your campaign. This is, after all, a landing page. So players who are being invited to your campaign or joining it, they're going to want to get a sense of what this campaign might be all about or what they can expect to come. So adding details is a great way to do that. Clicking on that, it's going to give you the option to, again, revisit the name if you want, as well as upload a custom image for your campaign, if you have one. It also gives you the ability to schedule. So you can actually go ahead and lay out what your gaming schedule is going to be like, whether that be a weekly, a monthly, however that works, each day if you want, as well as the time that you're going to have it take place in the time zone. If your players are using the campaign landing page as sort of their central go-to for information, this is really important. Now, session link is if they are having a reoccurring link to Discord, Roll20, whatever tabletop they're using. Again, it keeps it here rather than scouring through their emails or scouring through the Discord channel you're using to find that link. They can just visit this and have everything they need. Now, here's the interesting one. We have a campaign description and public notes. And this is where you're going to start asking questions about what goes in each. My recommendation is that your campaign description should be brief, a quick little summary of what's going on, but it doesn't need to chronicle everything that's happening in your campaign. This is basically a sort of an elevator pitch for your campaign to summarize what's going on in it. Public notes, however, well, these are just fair game. Whatever you feel is going to be, valid. It could be information about something that's happening that week. It could be just a heads up to people. That way you can use it as kind of a bulletin board for players who are wanting to get some information who might not tune in to the Discord conversations. You can post it here on public notes. Players can visit the campaign page and get informed right away. You're done, you can just save it. And here we go. Now you're probably asking about this fear tracker here, and we'll get to that in a bit. But right now, let's go to the next step. Let's go to countdowns. So you're probably asking, well, why do countdowns exist on the campaign page? Well, countdowns typically carry over from session to session, just like fear, and that's why fear is located here on the campaign page as well. But countdowns are some of those things that just continue to be persistent through each session. And rather than having countdowns exist in, say, a dedicated encounter page, this basically just gives it a home so that you know in your chaos of preparing for sessions and that you're not going to lose track of fear and countdowns accidentally because it was embedded into like another component, for example. So this is where you could put those, as well as stating, how big they are and where they're at, and as well as details about the countdowns. Notes and lore is my favorite section. This is where you can sort of start to throw together all of the stuff that players tend not to document, keep track of, or even care to in their campaigns, whether that be people, places, enemies, you name it. And over here, there's different categories you can choose from before adding an entry. Session recaps can live here, NPCs, adversary, items, notes, lore, you name it. Everything that you are putting into your campaign as far as flavor and story and narrative can live here on the campaign page in an organized fashion. Factions is something I haven't used, but if you are utilizing factions within your campaign, this is another way that you can actually sort of keep track of how factions are doing and what their standing is in your campaign world. I haven't actually used it myself because I'm not running those types of campaigns where factions as a greater mechanic is being used, but again, it's cool that Heart of Daggers team has actually considered that. Now, here's where this is going to get a little interesting as far as why you're seeing this. Encounters is another system within Heart of Daggers. It's a system that I use pretty much religiously, but it is a separate system than the campaign page. And I'm not going to get into the encounters section in this video. I wanted to keep this one a little bit shorter. But if you have encounters that you've created within Heart of Daggers, you can link it to your campaign. So again, sort of a one-stop access to it. Now, you have to be careful because these encounters then become public for your players to see. So you may want to wait until you've resolved them before you link them. But either way, it's a way of keeping the ecosystem tied together. And that's one of the things I really love about Heart of Daggers is there's a lot of care put into making sure that each of its individual components come together in some form in another overarching component. And of course, this brings us back to our players' side of things. So a very simple, system that's embedded into the Heart of Daggers, the campaign page, but it is an important one. And I'm going to take you back right now, and I'm going to show you what a campaign page looks like when it's populated for one of my campaigns. So here we have the Dragon World campaign that I'm currently running. Dragon World is a sort of alternative future Dragonlance campaign. It is a campaign that takes place about 200 years after the War of the Lance from the Dragonlance saga. And it's basically my way of sort of iterating on what would happen if monsters and dragons ruled the world of Krynn as opposed to heroes. So this is my campaign page. You'll see that I have my fear tracker laid out there, and that basically mirrors my encounters. So I have a fear tracker embedded in my encounter, and that mirrors this directly as well. Again, you'll see here that I have all my players. And one of the other things to consider is that by having your players here, you can actually go and view their character sheet. It'll take you to that player's character sheet. Now, you can't interact and change anything, but you do have access to see their character sheet. So that's available as well. One of the cool things, if you look down here, the Heart of Daggers team has added a feature called Send Item. So I can come to the campaign page and I can actually send specific items to the characters directly, whether that be magic items, loot, gold, things like that. Moving over to my overview, we talked about how that was important. And on my overview, I have my campaign description and I have some player principles. in public notes. I would hazard a guess to say that my players probably don't visit this page too often. Any countdowns that I have running, I don't currently have any, but they would go here. And then the notes and lore page that we talked about. Everything's broken down here. If you look under category, you'll see session recap, some NPCs, some locations, etc. And each of those can be clicked by the players. And you can toggle whether that's viewable by the player or not. But you'll see here that I've embedded some images and basically just some summary of what's happened in the session. Now currently this is all in sort of one big stream, but you can actually go and toggle by going session recaps and it'll filter out. So while there is no folders on the front view, I would recommend that you bring players' attention to the filter because that's going to be a way for them to decipher through the information that you're posting every week. And that way they don't get overwhelmed with like everything. So you can have NPCs posted there. And yeah, a very useful tool for helping keep players apprised of what's going on in the campaign. I'm going to skip over here. I do have one encounter that I've linked. I can make that private so that they can't see it. And then the encounter page of Heart of Daggers. There's your peek. And as always, I hope you're all having fun playing Dagger Heart out there. We'll talk to you soon.